สี่สามสอง
ค่ะคุณผู้ชมและตอนนี้นะคะดิฉันก็ได้มายืนอยู่กับอาจารย์แหววแล้วก็คุณคริสแล้วค่ะสวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์แหววสวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะคุณคริส
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะค่ะอยากให้อาจารย์แหววเล่าให้เราฟังสักนิดนึงนะคะว่าพอลรูดอฟเนี่ยเขามีความสำคัญยังไงคะ
ค่ะคือพอลรูดอฟนี่เป็นสถาปนิกชื่อดังเลยนะคะช่วงสมัยกลาง2020เนี่ยค่ะก็คุณพอลรูดอฟเนี่ยออกแบบงานสถาปัตย์มากมายเลยอย่างเช่นคณะสถาปัตย์ที่เยล University นะคะ
ค่ะแล้วจุดประสงค์ล่ะคะในการจัดเอ็กซิบิชันนี้ขึ้นมาค่ะ
คืออยากให้คนในคณะค่ะเห็นภาพที่เห็นส่วนตัวเห็นว่างามมากเลยค่ะที่คุณคริสถ่ายเอาไว้ซึ่งแนวคิดภายใต้รูปพวกนี้คือมันเป็นเรื่องของการ preservation นะคะ
โอเคค่ะคราวนี้คุณคริสค่ะ about this exhibition can you tell us a bit about the whole exhibition
Sure. I photographed the three homes that are featured in this exhibition in 2007. As they said, the homes were designed by famous American architect Paul Rudolph, whose work has sort of fallen on tough times lately. I photographed each of the three homes just before they were about to be demolished. So this project sort of exists as a form of photographic preservation of these three iconic examples of modernist architecture which no longer exist. It's a book for the project is about to be published in October, and this is the first exhibition for the book in the world.
So you mean you are writing a book about these whole pictures?
Well, it's a book. It's a photography book, so
right.
It's just. I mean, there are essays, but the primary focus is the photographs.
All right, yeah. So what do you think when you did all these projects, these three houses? What catches your eyes and what came up in your mind?
I'll be honest. When I photographed the first home, which these two photos are of that home in Connecticut, I knew very little about Paul Rudolph or his work, even though I was interested in architecture and architectural photography. So basically, when I first walked into this home, I was, fascinated by the house, by him, and really hooked on his work, to the point where after photographing this house, I sort of felt changed or something and felt compelled to photograph as many possible Paul Rudolph homes, especially homes that were threatened or going to be demolished. So soon after photographing this house, I photographed the other two in the project. Though I've photographed probably over 30 Paul Rudolph homes in all, just some out of pure interest, others because they might be demolished, etc. But I sort of feel like this project has done more for me than, it's selfish because it is tragic that the homes were gone, but it was just a really impactful and influential project for me as far as I'm putting out a book. It's been exhibited internationally. It's been published a lot. It got my girlfriend and I together, which is good. So,
right.
And as a photographer, my style of photography is not necessarily very dramatic or, this is a world-changing project or something, but I wanted and still want this project to hopefully have some sort of impact on the way future homes similar to this in the United States and elsewhere are treated, because I think the modernist homes in the United States are very important to the architectural landscape, and unfortunately many of them are not being treated the way they should, and they're disappearing, a lot of them, and before you know it, that vital part of American architecture might not be as well represented as it was or is right now. So because there are very few protections for homes from this period, I sort of set out to, in a way, show another way of protecting them or preserving them. Maybe not as satisfying as the homes still existing, but that's what I was able to do.
right อันนี้เกี่ยวกับเรื่องโปรเจกต์ทั้งหมดแล้วก็เรื่องรูปคราวนี้เราลืมอะไรไปบ้างป่ะ
มีไฮไลท์แล้วก็
มีอะไรที่
สิ่งที่อยากให้คนดูได้รับกลับไปในโชว์ของเขา
It's okay.
ก็รีเฟล็กอะไรออกมาแล้วก็ต้องการให้คนดูคือคิดตามอะไรคือก็คือไงให้เล่าแต่ละรูปได้ไหมคะ
ให้เล่า2 จุด
2 จุด Okay so we're gonna start like looking at the details the features
Okay, sure.
so these two and the other two right
If that works.
3 2
เห็นอย่างนี้แล้วนะคะคุณผู้ชมเราก็ต้องมาดูรายละเอียดของรูปภาพกันแล้วล่ะค่ะอาจารย์แววเดี๋ยวต้อง please can we have a look at more of the details your
Of course.
photograph like for example this one is a highlight
Yes. This photograph has sort of become the signature image for this project.
right
And it's the cover of the new book. And I mean, it's one of my personal favorites as well as, I guess, other people's. When I was taking these photographs, I wanted to take a break to wait for the light to change. So I took a couple-hour break, went into town to get some lunch, and the owner of this house was very unhappy that people were trying to prevent him from demolishing it. He was a new owner who basically bought the house to knock it down because he wanted the property. So I'm pretty sure that some of his contractor friends, anyway, some people showed up while I was gone and trashed the house. So like all of this damage here was done by rocks being thrown through the windows. This hole here, which you can see reflected there as well, had been freshly made. So actually when I was taking these photographs, or this photograph, you could hear all of the glass really crackling really loudly.
So while you were waiting for the light you like saw things happening and stuff
Well, I was gone, and so I came back to, this disrespect or destruction that had happened to the house, prior to it being disrespected even further by actually being demolished. So, and in this photograph here, which is the front exterior of the house, this.
it's the same house this two
Oh yeah. These two are the same. Yeah, they're all kind of grouped together as you go down. This wall here had been knocked over by a backhoe as well. So this house, the photographs of this house in the book are by far my favorites, just for a number of reasons. But this house is probably my favorite piece of architecture, definitely that I've ever photographed or experienced for.
ก็ถือว่าเข้าไปเกี่ยวกับเรื่องหนังสือนะคะคุณอาจารย์แหววเพราะว่าเหมือนจะทำให้เราเห็นนะคะคุณผู้ชมว่าอาร์คิเทคชื่อดังนะคะก็พอบ้านถูกทำลายไปก็เหมือนกับชื่อหนังสือเลย
ใช่
ค่ะแล้วก็คุณคริสเนี่ยก็ได้อยู่ในเหตุการณ์ที่มันโดนทำลายก็คงจะน่าเสียดายเป็นเรื่องที่น่าเสียดาย
แต่โดยชื่อหนังสือของคุณคริสก็น่าสนใจมากเลยค่ะชื่อว่า After You Left Better Get Caught
ใช่ไหมคะก็คราวเนี้ยexcellent we'd like to see more of the art houses please
Sure.
ไปดูด้วยกันเลยค่ะ
คัดค่ะ
4 3 2
ค่ะคุณผู้ชมและตอนนี้นะคะเราก็ได้เดินชมมาถึงรูป2รูปสุดท้ายที่สำคัญมากอีกเหมือนกันบ้านหลังสุดท้ายนะคะ Can you tell us a little more about this house?
Yes. This house was basically Paul Rudolph's first home, built in 1941.
First design, first one built.
Basically,
Wow.
yeah. What after he was out of school. So 1941, It was on Siesta Key, which is an island off of Sarasota, Florida. He was very influential in the architecture movement in Florida, but this house was demolished for a completely different reason from the other one I showed you. It was basically 15 feet off of the Gulf of Mexico, which is basically right here. And so there was a lot of weather damage and fire and flooding, and it just couldn't take the weather, basically. For example, this is that part of the garage, which or the carport, which burned down. You can see the Gulf of Mexico right there, so you get an idea for how close the water was. And obviously during hurricane season, it was a problem. But he built this house for his mentor, and supposedly used to have all kinds of crazy parties in this living room right here, and another beautiful house which really affected me. So,
Nice, great. So go back to the book.
yeah.
Like after you see it all about after you see all these houses, it used to be like people living in it
Yeah.
and everything, and it become empty like this and old. That it's like that the inspiration for the book.
No, I mean, I wouldn't say that was the inspiration for the book. I just, the inspiration for the book was these photographs, like I said, represent a style of architecture and an architectural movement, which I think is very important in America, and maybe certain architects who are involved in that movement are not as appreciated as other, superstar famous architects of that era. So, the book exists as a group of sort of final portraits, a final record of these homes while they were still, living or whatever. And sort of they're the final photographs before these homes are gone. And the book exists as a way for people now and years from now, hopefully, to see these homes, see how they were, how beautiful they were. You may not like the homes, but I think it's important to have made this record, which, this is what's left, basically.
ก็ถ้าเห็นอย่างนี้แล้วนะคะคุณผู้ชมมันก็ทำให้เรานึกถึงหลักคำสอนในด้านเชิงพุทธศาสนาเหมือนกันนะคะอาจารย์แหวว
ใช่ค่ะ
เพราะว่าแบบเหมือนกับสิ่งที่ไม่ว่าคุณจะเป็นอาร์เคเต็กชื่อดังศิลปินดังที่มีชื่อเสียงขนาดไหนก็ตาม พอไม่อยู่ในโลกนี้แล้วเนี่ยมันก็
ไม่จีรัง
ไม่จีรัง
งาน
ไม่จีรัง
ก็อาจจะถูกรื้อถอนไปได้อะแต่ว่าที่สำคัญของคุณคริสเนี่ยคือเขาไปทำบันทึกภาพซีรีส์สุดท้ายอะค่ะก่อนที่บ้านพวกเนี้ยจะไม่มีอยู่ในโลกนี้อีกแล้วอะค่ะเพราะฉะนั้นผลงานของคุณคริสเนี่ยจะมีความสำคัญกับประวัติศาสตร์สถาปัตยกรรมด้วยค่ะ
But I feel like to ask you what's next after the exhibition here. You're going back to the States and
Yeah, I go back to New York. I'm working on getting more press. I have a few articles coming out in September. The book comes out in early October. There's a book release exhibition at a place called Reform Modern Gallery in Los Angeles on October 3rd. There's an exhibition in Ireland, book release event in New York City, and we'll see what else happens.
ค่ะคราวนี้งานเด็ดๆอย่างนี้นะคะคุณผู้ชมก็จะต้องถามคุณคริสแล้วล่ะค่ะว่า if Thai people would like to see your work, would there be any way they can?
Of course, yeah. You can always see my work at www.modellini.com, which is my website. And the book is available for pre-order now, and you can order it through Amazon.com or the University of Chicago Press website. And it will be available in some Asian bookstores. I know in Singapore, and I think something in Bangkok.
Right, that'd
So,
be great.
yeah.
We have to thank you very much for ค่ะผลงานดีๆอย่างนี้นะคะถ้าคุณผู้ชมท่านใด ที่อยากจะติดตามผลงานของคุณคริสนะคะชอบผลงานภาพถ่ายก็ติดตามดูได้นะคะเพราะว่าพิเศษจริงๆวันนี้รายการผู้หญิงแนวหน้ากับคุณแหน่นะคะก็ต้องขอบคุณอาจารย์แหววมากๆที่ให้พวกเรามามีโอกาสได้เห็นงานดีๆอย่างนี้ขอบคุณมากนะคะ
ค่ะยินดี
We have
ค่ะ
to thank you very much Chris for today
Thank you very much.
yeah, and hopefully we see some of your work again soon here in Thailand
Sure, I would love it.
yeah ขอบคุณมากค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadee krap.